Welcome everyone. This is Coach Jay with another episode of Sitting Down with Coach Jay. Today's guest is Coach Chris Campbell. Coach Chris Campbell is the site director of Explosive Performance at the North Frederick here in Frederick, Maryland, as well as the co-founder of Peerless Athletics. Coach Chris and I, we share a unique background. There's a good backstory to how he and I met, and then also became good friends and worked together. So Chris, I'll give you the floor, buddy.
Yeah, so basically Jay and I happened to be in the same gym. I was actually training for my pro day for the University of Delaware. I just graduated and was looking to make that jump to the NFL. And I was getting ready for a combine, and Coach, I was having some tightness in my hips, and I was doing a lot of Olympic lifting, things like that, and I was looking to really increase my stride length in my 40 and just be a little more elastic, trying to increase my vertical jump, all those combine scores. And so Coach Jay started stretching me, and just because I was feeling tight. And it was pretty amazing. What was happening is we noticed that doing these stretches, my performance in some of these tests kept increasing. And the most notably, when I went to the Baltimore Regional Combine, I ended up jumping 3 inches higher than my previous best. And the night before, Coach Jay had stretched me out, not too intense, but just a light stretch.
Right.
And it was a huge increase just from that one session, and that's when I really became a believer in Fascial Stretch Therapy. I didn't get started in it to increase my performance, but that's really what ended up happening. Right. And then as I made the transition to my fitness career, we started working with some of the same clients, and most of them started working with us not because they were looking to increase their performance, but because they were looking to recover from an injury, or they had some type of pain or stiffness. So that's really why and how we started working together, and now I refer pretty much every athlete I have to Coach Jay.
So the great thing is we had a swimmer that we share, and we're working with the same swimmer for a year and a half. And what have you noticed working with her over the year and a half?
Well, yeah, she definitely had some shoulder and back pain, and then, after the first, couple weeks of just being consistent with FST, she stopped complaining about her lower back pain altogether. And the combination of, we can do a lot of the mobility and corrective type work in the gym, but that can only get us so far, and there are other things that we need to accomplish in the gym, increasing our power and our strength. Right. So that's why it's great to be able for her to have time where she can concentrate specifically on mobility and flexibility, because in a strength training session, the goal is not really to increase mobility and flexibility in that session. The goal is to be able to get your body prepared for the workout session. So you need, if you're trying to increase your mobility and flexibility, you need to spend separate time where you're not focused on a strength training session or a conditioning session, on specifically right. Mobility and flexibility, and that's what Coach Jay provides.
Now, just yesterday, you and I had a conversation about the training that you went to, and you met some Olympic swimmers, and we talked about best times. Now, it's kind of unique in that the swimmer that we work with, pretty much for a year and a half, she's pretty much had a best time almost throughout that whole time while staying injury free. But for a lot of people, I don't think they understand how hard that is. And you gave me a good explanation yesterday when you were speaking to the one gold medalist that you worked with.
Yeah. Mark Gangloff, he set a personal record at 16 years old, and then he didn't hit another personal record till he was 21. And I mean that stuff kind of happens all the time in swimming, and I know I experienced that as well, training for the combine, where doing the drills and there's only so much you can do on your own before you need a coach. And so you have a strength coach, you have a speed coach, and this is that third realm that we don't really focus on, but that flexibility coach. Right. So yeah, it's very common, especially for a swimmer or other athletes, to hit a plateau, and you might be you might be able to produce more strength in the weight room, but might not be able to produce it at the angles that, and we talk about that all the time, is, you might have more strength in your upper body to pull yourself through in that stroke, but if you're not lifting your arm as high out of the water, right, and grabbing as much, covering as much distance, then you're not going to see the strength aspect translate to a best time.
Right. And I think from what I've seen from the fascial stretch therapy side, you have to strengthen and lengthen. Like, that's a combination that a lot of people don't really get, because once we lengthen and we give you that new range, you have to develop neuromuscular control of that new range. And that's where a lot of people miss. Oh, I stretch, but I don't strength train, or I strength train and I don't stretch. So the two really goes hand in hand, and that's when you see the progressions really start. So that's what's really important, that you have to have the combination of doing just more than strengthening, just more than stretching. A lot of times you have yoga. People that do yoga all the time, they just lengthen and lengthen, but never strengthen. Then you have the meathead in the gym. It's just a term, but they are meatheads. And what they do, they strengthen and strengthen and never lengthen. And I think that is the message that everyone needs to really understand, is that you have to just do more than one thing, especially when you're an athlete trying to perform at an optimal level. What do you feel?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. You got to get outside your comfort zone. And if you're a meathead and you're trying to correct, if you have some shoulder pain, if you're trying to correct through strength, it's probably not what you need. And if you do yoga 5 days a week, and you're and you still have that, hip pain, you probably don't need to do any more yoga. You probably should hit the other end of the spectrum. So you got to have synergy.
Awesome. Well, hey, till next time, this is Coach Jay. I'm signing off. Thanks again for my man, Coach Chris Campbell, for coming out to hang out with me for a few minutes today. Dude got a busy schedule. But you need to get in touch with him. You can check him out at, what's your email?
You can hit up coach@peerlessathletics.com.
All right. Peace.